Hello, hello. So what are your names?
I'm Charlie Hayes.
I'm Logan Hayes.
He's my son.
Welcome, welcome. What
you.
room did you stay in last night?
We stayed in the Hosea Knowlton room.
Hosea Knowlton, okay.
And I want to tell you, it was a great experience. Before we went to bed, we'd gone through all the tours, and when we arrived, we kind of picked up the tail end of one tour. And we got some certain tidbits, and then we got in and get checked in, and we waited for the ghost tour later on, and a lot of great things. And there was this little girl there that knew more about Lizzie Borden than so many people, and she was kind of part of the interaction, which was kind of nice because she added a certain flair to it. And there was a guy there sitting in a chair, and he says, "You guys are staying here?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You're not scared?" I said, "Oh, we're not scared." I looked over at my son, and we both smiled, and the guy was serious, which was kind of cool. So now we went up to bed, and what was cool about it is we had two girls that came in, and they were paranormal, like ghost hunters. And so they were there, and they're going to do something. And so it became a pretty active night. So when we went up to bed, we were waiting for something to happen. But, you're starting to nod off. Nothing had happened.
When you're waiting for it, nothing
Yeah,
happens. It's always when you least expect
we
it.
had sat down, taken a bunch of photos. And in our room, they had they said the three little girls, the next door neighbors, would come over, and they would play in this room. They would sit on the couch that was in our room. And so there was a toy box there of dolls and stuff. And we had taken a picture of that for the folks back at home. And so now we took a picture of that. But in the morning, there was like two dolls on the floor and one that was moved over. So, and we both looked at each other and thinking the other guy did that, just to slip. But no, we neither did it. And it happened in an odd time. It didn't really happen because I was up till well after like 1:30.
Wow.
And so that had happened there. And then tell me what you had experienced. You had heard some noises?
So, yeah, late at night, we fell asleep around midnight-ish, a little after midnight, and I woke up probably around 1 or 2 in the morning, and I swear there were some weird noises going on. I don't know what was happening. I swear I heard some doll noises and stuff moving in the room. So, creepy stuff.
It's just kind of neat. You come up and you expect you're not going to see anything. You walk in with this like nothing, and we hope we walked out. But after the basement, we went down to the basement, and I had been down there twice because I caught the tail end of the tour before, and there is like an imagery down there that you can take photos, and you actually see a face in the wall.
Oh, yes.
So now there's a debate: is it Lizzie? Is it Morris? Who is the face behind there? And then some of the interesting stories about the dress, what they did with the dress, and was it paint from the dressmaker? Was that the story, or was she actually burning it? Was it blood? The axe, and the axe handle, I've heard stories that the axe handles was broken and they took it, and you heard different stories. Was it the housekeeper? Was it Morris, and all the money was going away to the stepmother? So there's a lot of interesting, it makes you wonder. So there's a lot of debate going on, isn't that right, towards the end of the tour of who really did it? Was it Lizzie? Did she get away with it? Or was it somebody else that was protecting the interest in the money? So it's still, it's one of those unsolved mysteries, if you will, kind of gives you some food for thought.
It's a lot more
and then
complicated than
you
people
even read
think.
more of the story and some of the plays that have been done. I thought it was interesting that, growing up as a kid, I watched Bewitched with Elizabeth Montgomery, and there's a story there that she played a role in a movie, and they ended up being related. So that was kind of like a sixth cousin, somebody said, or 17th. But those little things add to it, and it makes you wonder. So we're headed up after here. But hey, we appreciate everything you did for us. We enjoyed our stay, and thank you so much. And I'm sure we'll be back.
Oh, excellent. So there was one thing I want to ask you about. Going back to the toys, you said that 2 dolls were on the floor and one was moved. Are you familiar with the actual story of the children next door?
I understood they came over and they played here often, so that's about all we know.
Well, it's a little darker than that. A woman who lived in that home about 40 years before, in a fit of postpartum, she tried to kill all 3 of her kids, but one of them survived.
Okay.
So that imagery sounds very symbolic of that to me.
So,
that is super, super interesting.
So the spirits are there. And who's to say, what I always say, everybody has these different theories of what happens in life, but we have senses. We have sight, sound, and you smell all it. But a bat has radar, right? So they have something we don't. So is there a possibility that we just don't have the capability of seeing what's right next to us? So there could be another whole activity, another dimension, if you will, spirits roaming amongst us. So it gives you food for thought. That type of stuff could actually be happening. And, I know a lot of people have these conspiracy theories and everything. But why couldn't it be? It seems logical. It seems more science that there could be other dimensions and other things that are happening.
I could not agree more.
It's exciting. What we know now, and think of, when my grandmother was born back in the 1920s, they didn't have airplanes. They didn't have, I guess they just started an airplane. But they didn't have computers, TVs, radio. And look at how we've progressed just in that. So there's a lot still to discover. And so who knows what we'll look back upon. Look at the Earth isn't flat, right? And we discovered that, right? So.
Excellent. Now, would you stay here again?
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent.
We'd probably pick a different room, right?
Spice it up a little bit.
Spice it up.
Make some new ghost friends.
Yeah. We'd probably take, I heard stories about the Sullivan woman, who she was the housekeeper, and maybe she did it, right? And we heard other stories about maybe there was other stuff going on between the family. There's so many different reasons of why it could have happened. But back then, I understand morphine. We don't get that stuff today unless you're really sick. So I guess the answer to everything was morphine. So maybe, Lizzie was on that and doesn't remember.
Who's to say?
Who's to say? So, really neat. So, yeah, we'd be back. And we'd stay for lunch, too, if they made lunch.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much. So happy you enjoyed your stay.